Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
Good morning and welcome to Cowboys StoryLine. I am Nick Eatman. It is Monday, December the 2nd. Welcome back from the holiday weekend. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone from last week. We'll turn the page now to December. We can focus on Christmas, of course, if it hasn't already been the focus, and maybe focus on the playoffs, maybe. I don't know. Cowboys are in the hunt. I know that. They're in I see the screen up on anytime they're doing a game, here's the NFC playoff picture. There's that Cowboy logo finally there. Way off on the right. It's not exactly where you want to be, but it's better than being off the page, or is it? You guys can talk about that and weigh in on that. 888-855-2297. But the Cowboys get another victory, 2 in a row now. Cowboys beat the Giants 27-20 on Thanksgiving. Defense played really well in that game. Second game in a row, though, where they're in control, and then they just kind of that prevent defense just lets them back in it with the touchdown. Maybe a little closer than it needed to be, but still good game for the Cowboys. Also good job by the offense of kind of just icing the game there at the end. They needed a first down. You would think they would have run it. They threw it. Brandon Cooks, welcome back. Brandon Cooks gets a touchdown, also with a big catch there on the sideline to seal the game. And so, you're starting to get these veteran players back, and the Cowboys are starting to play better. If you think that's a coincidence, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Let's go, Champ, Nebraska. What's up?
Hey, Nick, how we doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm starting to feel like the last time I called in, I was kind of getting on the fans because we had that conversation about people paying attention and all that. And then I hadn't been able to get in for a couple of weeks already. And I thought, man, he's going to think he calls in here and wants to talk about fans, and then he doesn't call back. But he's been busy with work and stuff.
Hey, Champ, and maybe this is my own assumption, but I feel like the people that call on a regular basis, whatever that is, regular basis, if they don't call, that means that to me they're not getting through. That's the way I look at it. That's how I always feel like if they don't call today, they couldn't get in. Not that they.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's been. Either that or I've been busy, but I've been listening every week.
I appreciate it.
Hey, so the last time I called, I kind of was dogging on Coach McCarthy talking about he kept talking about complimentary football. And I said, he's not helping himself by not running the ball. He kind of gets away from it. But the last couple of weeks, for the most part, I know he's had a couple of, the second quarter comes to mind. This last game, he got away from the run game for a little bit. And then what you were just talking about, that third down. But, hey, it worked out for us. But I want to give him his flowers because, Rico's, they've been using him. They haven't been pulling him out and bringing in Zeke, trying to get Zeke going again. It's been Rico. They're living and dying with Rico, and it's working, and I want to give him his flowers for that.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome. I think that I took a picture the other day when I saw the In the Hunt deal, too, and I posted it on my social media, and, it's still kind of a joke between me and my dad, because I understand we're way out of it right now, but we're in the hunt. There's a possibility. There's a chance. And lastly, I wanted to ask you, I heard you talking last week about Stanford, that's where your wife is from. Mm-hmm. One of my high school coaches won the state championship there. His name was Ronnie Casey. I don't know if you know him or not. He's a great man, great coach. I just wondered. And I just wanted to say that I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. I would try to get in to wish you guys that last week, but I hope you guys are full of family and blessings, and I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Champ. Appreciate that. Yeah, it was a good Thanksgiving. I was all over the place. Stanford on Wednesday, Cowboy game Thursday. 27 consecutive Thanksgiving Day games for me, starting with Randy Moss and the Vikings in '98, and then 27 in a row. Proud of that. It's awesome. I love the game. I love the game. I love the Thanksgiving Day game. Kind of honored to be a part of it in our own way. Okay, we're not playing in the game. I know that, but still, everyone's got to have a job. Everyone covers it, and we got to have people working in the parking lot, the concessions. Everybody has to do their part for a game, so the rest of the world can sit with their family and eat turkey and ham and all that, and watch the game as a tradition. And so it's cool to be on the other side of it, and it's a great excuse too when your family, you're asking like, well, where is he? And I'm like, well, he's at the game. We're watching. So I love it. I love being there. And to me, Thanksgiving is when you're with your family and you're eating food and you're watching football. So whether that's Saturday, for me it was Wednesday, and then a little bit on Saturday too, which was great. All right, to answer your question about Rico, yeah, I mean Rico's having a nice job there. They're doing a nice job with him. They still though, there was like in second quarter, it was like 3 possessions in a row. I'm like, was 8 carries for 50 yards? Is that not good enough to keep giving him the ball? And then there was another drive in the fourth quarter, 3 straight passes, and you're like, what are they doing? Like, why? You're up by 14 points with the ball, and your running game is working. It makes no sense to try to throw it deep to Tolbert or Mingo or whatever they're doing. I'm just like, just run the football. Your best receiver's out with a shoulder injury. You're running it well, and you're up 14. Let's get out of here and go home. And so they just can't help themselves sometimes. I don't understand that. All right, Robbie, Cocoa Beach, Florida.
What's up, Nick? Happy Thanksgiving to you, man. I know
too.
you enjoyed it. You said 27th year consecutive, huh?
27
pretty awesome,
Thanksgiving Day games in a row. Love
That is phenomenal.
Love it. I remember every one of them, I think.
Yeah. So I was a chef for years, and for years I'd have to be at the restaurant until recently I retired, and now I work for the county because I got little kids, I told you that.
Yeah.
That being said, I just started having Thanksgiving at home, and it has been the most amazing thing in the last 9 years to be able to be home with the family, eat Thanksgiving, cook, and watch the ball game, man. It's the best time of my week.
Definitely. I hear you.
Hey, man, our run game is starting to come together a little bit.
Running the
and
ball.
Let's not mention playoffs. I mean, I know, well, you said it too right in the beginning of the pod, but I see our name on the screen now, 5 and 7.
Just keep
same as the
keep
49ers.
chopping wood.
We're in the
Just keep chopping wood. Just keep going in that right direction. I promise you. I think it's better for the team. It is, and it's better for it's better for us. I know that.
Of course, I love watching the games. I love watching us win.
And and I'm sorry, you're not gonna, you keep doing that. You're not gonna be picking in the top 5. You probably.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like somewhere between 15 and 20. That's what this is kind of looking like.
Unless we can limp into the playoffs and then make a.
Oh yeah.
A miracle run like a couple other teams have done throughout the years. And I got to say, this upcoming week against Cincy, I'm glad that Cincy won.
They lost, actually.
They lost?
They lost to the Steelers. Yeah, they're 4-8.
Oh, I thought they'd won the game.
No, they lost to the Steelers. And apparently, and I watch them a little bit, apparently this is the greatest 4-8 football team that the NFL's ever seen. I mean,
oh, Lord.
I don't know. I don't get it. The Cowboys are, 5-point underdogs. I mean, Burrow and Chase and Higgins, they're great, but somebody on defense is not. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You're going to have to score some
And we
points.
got Tank coming back.
Should come back. We'll see.
Trayvon, I hear maybe.
Maybe. CD, probably. So, yeah. Good. Zach Martin, I would think.
And Cooks.
Cooks is, been back.
Cookie, like Brady was calling him.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, he can call him whatever he wants.
He can call him whatever he wants.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, man.
All right,
hey,
Robbie.
Listen, I think we're going to have a great week listening to the show all week, and
great.
we're going to whoop some butt on Monday night.
All right, Robbie. Appreciate it. All right, good stuff. Let's go to Gary in New Mexico as our next caller. Gary.
Hey, Nick. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving.
It was great. It was outstanding.
And you're absolutely right, too. I tried to call in last week, but you were just so busy on Wednesday, man. You had a ton of callers, obviously. So.
Yeah.
which was disappointing because I had a great Thanksgiving Cowboy trivia question for you.
Is it not applicable anymore?
No, I'm going to go ahead and ask it just because.
Go ahead.
Because you're big. This is right from your era, when you're watching the Cowboys growing up. So, 1987.
Oh, yeah.
Can you name the wide receiver that scored 3 touchdowns in that Thanksgiving loss to the Minnesota Vikings?
Mike Renfro?
Yeah, Mike Renfro. That was my man.
Yes.
Now, second part of that question, this is why I asked that. Can you tell me how many players from that 1987 Thanksgiving game were on Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl teams in the 1990s?
Oh. Ooh.
Because there was a bunch of them, and not all of them played for Dallas.
Say that again. They were on the what? They were on the playoff. They were on the Super
How
Bowl.
How many players from that 87 Thanksgiving game
Okay.
were on Cowboys Super Bowl teams in the 90s?
Oh.
On any one of the 3 Super Bowl teams in the 90s.
Oh, okay. What's the answer? 9, 8? I don't know.
Let's see. Hold on.
Well,
There were 9 Cowboys that were on that 87 team, including 3 starters on the offensive line: Gogan, Newton, and Tuanay.
Yeah, I got Newton, Tuanay, Gogan.
You got Kelvin Martin, Jim Jeffcoat, Bill Bates, Mike Saxon, the punter, Robert Williams, defensive back, number 23, and Danny Noonan, who technically was traded halfway through the 92 season, but he started the first 2 games of that season, which were big wins. And then the 2 Vikings were Isaac Holt and Wade Wilson.
Wade Wilson. Nice.
Yeah, remember
Yeah.
Wade? I mean, that was, I don't know why that 87 game, man. I was a sophomore in high school. The Cowboys were down.
Came
They
back.
weren't that good. It was kind of the last stand. But that game just sticks in my mind because Mike Renfro got into a big fight with Joey Browner after one of his touchdowns. And that just stuck in my mind. Anyway.
I wrote Jesse Solomon down. I guess he didn't play on those championship teams.
No, they cut him. I
Yeah.
guess Jimmy cut him or traded him before the 92 season, but he played for us in 90.
That's
Anyway,
a good one.
go ahead. On to Cincinnati, okay?
Sure.
This team is starting to come together and look good. I like what I'm seeing. You remember back in 1990 when Michael Irvin was coming off of his knee injury, and then about the 10th game of the season, they went out to play the Rams, and he had a big 2-touchdown game. And that reminds me of Overshown. Overshown's a second-year guy. He's coming off an injury and kind of hit and miss. But, man, the last 2 or 3 weeks, that dude is really starting to come on and make some plays. Very encouraging, what we're seeing from him.
Yeah.
So here's my thoughts on this season. If they beat Cincinnati, and I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of peeked at the standings last night on ESPN, try to figure out playoff things. But if they beat Cincinnati, then I'm going to start scoreboard watching.
Yeah.
But let's see what they do against Cincinnati. But to the fans, man, don't think about the draft until after the season's over. Enjoy the wins. My family's happy because I told them if the Cowboys won, they could decorate for Christmas. So the Cowboys won on Thursday, so we get to put up the Christmas tree this year.
What?
So,
what if
all
they
good.
didn't win? What was it going to be like? Never or next week or until
No,
they
man,
win?
The wife probably would have overruled me in that situation.
Right.
But
Right.
I like to
good.
joke around, man. I mean, I just grew up a Cowboy fan, and when the Cowboys win on Thanksgiving, the next 10 days are always good.
That's
so,
true. In this
So
case,
let's see what happens. Enjoy the show, man. Thanks for taking my
Gary.
call.
Good stuff. In this case, 11 days because they played that Monday night game. Your point on Overshown, I get it. I'll say this though. When you come back from an injury, it's kind of like, is he back? All that kind of stuff. Sorry, this is the first time I've actually seen that Cooper to Josh Allen play for the touchdown. Wow, just old school hitch and pitch in the snow. That's pretty awesome. Sorry. Overshown, first game of the season, though. First game of the season when he outran Micah to get to Deshaun Watson on that 4th down sack. That's when we're like, oh, wow. Like, this guy's got something. Because we'd never seen him play, hadn't played yet. And so, he's had his moments here and there. That touchdown against the Giants, I mean, that's one of your best plays of the season by far. I mean, like that was just an outstanding play. It's got everything that you want from a dynamic player. When you think about that play, you want burst to get to the back, accelerate to get back into the backfield. You want power to just smash the running back off his spot and show, that so you got some acceleration, you've got power. Now you got length. The pass is out here, your anticipation, the length, tip it up in the air. Now you got to go the awareness to go find it, catch it, and then take it to the house. Everything that you want out of a player like that, especially a defensive player, he kind of showed it in that play. It was a really phenomenal play, and they needed that. They needed a boost to score a touchdown and kind of get the ball rolling there. So Overshown, outstanding play. Let's go to the next caller. Is Ronnie in New Jersey?
Hey Nick, good morning.
How are you?
Pretty good actually. Thank you. Hope you guys are doing
great.
Hope you guys are doing great. Nick, I'm glad you pointed out in the beginning of the show about the running game, because it seems like when these young guys are in there, they're starting to gel with the younger guys. I forget his name. Hoffman.
Hoffman. Right.
He's got
right
that. He's got that mentality, that feistiness that I wish everybody on the defensive line and offensive line had, especially our nose tackle. And I know he's played well the last couple of games, but I'm glad you also mentioned McCarthy, because if the running game is working, when I was watching the game, that's what I was saying too. I was saying the same thing you just mentioned. Why aren't you running the ball? And he's talking about, we're going to run the ball. Man, the running game finally is working. You guys are running the ball down their throats. This guy is killing it, Dowdle, and all of a sudden he stops running the ball. Like, that's why I'm kind of not a McCarthy fan, because he shoots himself in the foot. Like, if this would have been a better team, he gave them an opening to come back and just lose the game, basically, throw the game away. So I'm not 100% sold on McCarthy just because of that. He goes away from what's working, and when he finds it, he goes away from it for whatever reason. Another thing, Overshown, he's a beast.
Yep.
I mean, Overshown and Parsons together, and we get these cornerbacks back together, I think this team, the defense at least, will be a lot better. Hopefully we just do the same thing with the offense in this offseason, find another playmaker aside from C.D. Lamb, and running back and offensive lineman and a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Not asking for much.
Yeah, just anything else?
Another defensive tackle. You know what? If we get a defensive lineman, a playmaker as a defensive tackle, this defense would be really nice. But aside from that, Nick, thanks for taking my call. I hope you guys enjoyed your holidays, and I look forward to listening to you.
All right,
Thank you,
Ronnie. Appreciate that. I agree with you about the play calling there. With McCarthy at the end of the game or in the fourth quarter, I get it when you can't run, but they could. They were running well. That didn't make sense. They kind of get away from it. And I get it that you can't do it every single time. You're trying to mix things up, keep them off balance. I get that. Okay. But there's, when your running back has had in the second quarter, he had 8 carries for 50 yards. Okay. You're averaging more than 6 yards a carry. So that's working. So I don't understand a series or 2 or 3 in a row where you don't give him the ball once, unless he was hurt, which he wasn't. So, yeah, I didn't understand that. But you mentioned, Ronnie, mentioned Brock Hoffman. And, Hoffman's interesting because for some reason at training camp, it's not for some reason. The reason was that they drafted Cooper Beebe. I mean, that was it. I mean, he's your rookie, he's your third-round pick, and they thought he was good enough to handle it, and he's handled the job. But Hoffman, when he gets in the game, and you can still say it's a small sample size because it's been 4 starts, but they have success. He started 4 games now at guard and center, 1 game, I think, at center, and then 3 games at guard. And it was last year against the Cardinals, week 3, that terrible loss where they gave up 200 yards rushing, 222, and lost to the Cardinals, Josh Dobbs and all that. But he started that game, and they had 185 rushing yards in the game, 400 yards total. And Pollard had 122 yards rushing. Now, they lost the game, and they had some struggle a little bit in the red zone, but they did move the ball and moved well. In the last game of the season, he started against Washington. I think they, again, over 400 yards. They put up 38 points. And then he started these last 2 games here against Washington and then the Giants, where they've run the ball better. Rico had a nice game 2 weeks ago against Washington, and then last game he had 112 yards. Just saying. I mean, he gets the job done, or they're getting the job done when he's in there. How about that? And that's all you can do. And I love talking to him. He's just got a great perspective on things. And yeah, he's looking to fight. I mean, that's what I told him the other day about my analogy that he needs to be wearing that black T-shirt that says staff on the back, as a bouncer in the club. He liked that. He said him and Bassett, now of course you have a job to do, but if you can mix in, making the calls, making the blocks, and then mixing in a couple punches here and there, that's kind of what he's looking to do. It's awesome. Let's go to Josh in Chicago.
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. Hope you had a good weekend.
It's great.
So, hearing that talk about Hoffman, I just want to say really quick, until Zach is 100%, I think you just keep riding Hoffman. And I think the other thing is you have 3 running backs with Rico, Zeke, and Cook that at this point in the season when other teams are starting to have those nagging injuries, they don't want to run against guys like, they don't want to fight against guys like that. So you keep handing the ball off. I agree with the play calling needs to be better later in the game and just ice these games with the running backs.
Yep.
The point is, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The point I called in to make is just talk about Micah. I mean, he makes this whole team better. Donovan Wilson just playing so much better now, and I think that's what you see when you have such a playmaker and dynamic person on the team that other teams have to devote resources to. And I just love seeing Micah back. I mean, pay the man as quick as you can. That's my take on that. So I'll hang up and listen.
Thanks, Josh. Not a lot of people. Thank you. Not a lot of people have that opinion, and I do. Actually, I share that with you. And again, if you're trying to turn this thing around and you need a piece that you can trade that you can get a lot of value for, then yeah, you could think about doing that. But I just don't know if you're going to get the value that you want there, because 2 first-round picks sounds good, right? It sounds like a lot, but one of them, it depends on how high it is in the draft. I don't think you're going to get a top 10 pick out of that. So it's going to be lower than that. And then whoever he goes to is going to help them. He's going to help them. And then that next year's pick is probably not going to be that great. So, one of those picks, you've got to get another defensive end. So he has to be that good. I mean, good luck with that, because you're not picking in the top 10. You got very lucky that Micah Parsons was there for you at 12, and he could do that. And if all he was, and that pick got criticized. The pick got criticized because he's a linebacker. He's off the ball linebacker, and how good are how dynamic are those players? But nobody realized what kind of pass rush he had. I don't really study the draft that much, but I'll tell you this one. I can pat myself on the back on that one. And you can go back to the early days of that draft, and before I was like, I'm taking Micah Parsons because, and I said this, nobody's blocking him. And I know it's Purdue and Indiana and Wisconsin or whatever, but they're not blocking him. So in Memphis, in the bowl game, Cotton Bowl, he was outstanding. So now I don't know if anyone thought he could really rush off the edge, and so that was huge. But my point is that they got lucky. They got lucky to get a guy like that where they got him. It's rare. So good luck trying to replace him, and he makes everybody better. This defense is playing better because he's playing again, and he's playing great since he's came back. All right, let's go to break here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be right back to answer more calls.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
We got big personalities. We got big hair, big belt buckles. We got fans all across this big state and enemies in every other one. We even got a big star on the 50-yard line. Smirnoff knows football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks home or away, we rally together. We cry together. And we always rally cry together because, most of all, we got big love for them boys. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Check out the Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza powered by Reliant. It's back here at the Star in Frisco every Friday and Saturday night from November 22nd through December 21st. It's a free show. You can check it out. Details at stardistrict.com for more details on that. All right, let's go to the phone lines again. We got Randy in San Antonio. Randy, what's up?
Hey, good morning, Nick.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Always better when the Cowboys win.
Yep.
And even better when it's a divisional win.
Yep.
If you told me they were going to be 6-11, I would say let's make the 6 against the division. So,
yeah. Fair.
But
I would have put Houston in there somehow. But
I think my next one is San Francisco after the division.
Yeah.
But Houston's on that list too. I'm still bitter about Houston's first game.
Yeah, me too.
So,
me too.
And sometimes with these teams, right? I'm bitter with the Packers for a game I wasn't even alive for.
Hey, Eli beat Peyton sometimes, so
that happened, right?
Little brother sometimes wins.
Hey, so the game was great. I liked Rico running the ball. I think still there's room for maybe a speed back.
Yeah.
But I did want to talk. I wasn't going to talk about the draft thing, but let's say these people that want to trade Micah, and you get 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick for him. 3 picks for one guy, 2 of them in the first round, and you go out and you pick Todd Blackledge, Akili Smith, and Charles Tapper.
Yeah.
So, even in the first round, I think it's still about a 50% chance.
Yeah.
So, you can do all the research you want. It still doesn't always work out. But I wanted to go with that, but also the thing about the show, it's called StoryLine. So get your take a couple of Bengal storylines, and 2 of mine. One is, I think it was Zeke's rookie year. He had done a lot of different things already, and we said, hey, we want to see him break a long run. He had a 60-yard run.
Right.
And the other one, I don't remember exactly what year it was. I was all excited. The Cowboys were favored. I turn on the game. Boomer Esiason goes into a no huddle. And I think they end up losing 50-24, something like that.
Yeah.
A couple of your
85.
Bengal storylines that are your favorite. Was it 85?
That was 85, yeah. That 85 season was so weird because they had some bad losses like that one, and then the Bears 44-0, but then they also won the division. So, and they were 10-6, I believe. So it was just a weird year because you had some terrible losses, including Cincinnati in December.
Yeah.
You're right, 50-24. Yeah.
Yeah, I know I expected them to win. I turned on. I was so excited. I think I was I was still in the Wichita Falls area at the time, so
nice.
High school or junior high. So
nice. Good stuff. All right. Well, I have some Bengal memories for sure. I mean, you do it long enough, you face everybody. So, all right. Thanks. Thanks for the call, Randy. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Nick.
In 2000, the 2000 season, it was a pretty bad season. That's the first time I've ever heard Troy Aikman get booed. And I'm not talking about because there's three and outs and an interception. I'm talking about coming out of the tunnel, getting booed. And that's because he was struggling and they wanted to see Randall Cunningham play or maybe even Anthony Wright. And they won the game. They won that game. But I remember thinking like, wow, this is bad. They won the game. And one of the plays I remember in that game was a run for a touchdown by kicker Tim Cedar. They ran the ball right up the middle on a fake. It was a pretty cool play. But when I think of the Bengals, sadly, I think of the game that the Cowboys went up to Cincinnati in 2012, the day after they lost a practice squad player, Jerry Brown, who tragically died in a car wreck. Josh Brent's teammate was driving in the car. It's really, really bad situation. And just remember how the team rallied around him. And, again, that's football, okay? Jerry Brown and his family obviously never have him back. And so I'm not trying to say it like it's equal, like, wow, what a great moment. But because of that, it was a really terrible situation. I do remember the Cowboys played the game. They had his jersey draped over the bench, and it was tough. It was an emotional game. Jason Garrett, I thought, did a phenomenal job to get that team ready to play that game, and it was a back and forth, and they had to come back and win it on a last-second field goal that Dan Bailey made. And that's the game I remember, Cincinnati, them going up to Cincinnati and winning that game 20-19. So that's probably the best Cincinnati memory that I can think of. And then recently that they played them in 22, I believe, Micah's second year. And he was unbelievable. I'm like, Micah, I remember that game. It was a week 2 game against Joe Burrow and them, and he was phenomenal. And that's when it was the second year, but I was like, this guy can wreck games. So every time all this talk about trading him, got to get me a guy that can wreck some games. And right now he's doing it. I mean, he's doing that. He's playing like he's supposed to play. Let's go to Lester in Minnesota.
Hey, Nick. Good morning, man.
Hey, that defensive line and the offensive line both had a good game at the same time.
Yeah.
Same time.
Yeah, my boy Hoffman in there and the others. I know Austin is hurt, but
yeah.
Hey, I got a little bone to pick with the NFL right now. Hear me out. Out.
Good luck winning this because the NFL's its own thing. But go ahead, let's go for it.
But we got all these goats running around. We got Brady the GOAT. Is it Patrick Mahomes the GOAT? Is it Jerry Rice the GOAT? Randy Moss GOAT? Mm-hmm. But what about our GOAT that they never mention? And I'm talking about Emmitt Smith. He's the greatest running back of all time. He got all the yards. When I was growing up in the 80s and stuff like that, you couldn't have a game. And I know the game is a little different now before I say what I'm going to say. But you couldn't have a game. They wouldn't talk about Jim Brown and Walter Payton all the time. Oh, he can break the record. He broke the record, blah, 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 every week. But yet now we hear nothing about our Dallas Cowboy GOAT, Emmitt Smith.
Well, I'll say this. You've never taken a tour at the Star here in Frisco because they honor Emmitt Smith for sure. He doesn't get left
I'm
out.
Talking about the
I know you're talking
media.
about national. I get it. Because he wasn't the most dynamic, and here's the thing: the reason why he doesn't get all of the love and praise is because the offensive line does. The offensive line gets, and everyone. That's the narrative that everyone has is that you put Barry Sanders behind that line. Yeah, that would have been fun to see, but I'll say this. Think about those games in the 90s. Emmitt gets hurt against the Falcons in 93. Doesn't play a whole lot in that snow game in 93. When he was out in the first 2 games of the season, they didn't win without Emmitt Smith.
I know.
They won without Troy. They won without Irvin. They did not win without Emmitt Smith. So as great as that offensive line, and Nate will be in here, and Nate might be listening. Nate, I love you. You guys were awesome. But Emmitt Smith was made that team even better, And I think you're right. I don't think he gets enough credit. But you know what? He's got the rushing record that nobody will break. And so I think he's fine with that.
And no one ever talks about it, man. And that's all I got to say, except for until we get a offense good to very good offensive and defensive line at the same time. This is what we have, Cowboy fans.
Cool.
Go Cowboys.
All right, Lester. Appreciate it. Yeah, Emmett, Walter Payton, Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, everybody kind of looks at them differently. And maybe so. I mean, but Emmett, I'm kind of, partial to that. Watching him play, I mean, he was great. Now Barry Sanders was a different type of runner, and we all know that. And he probably would have been, and he if he wanted that record, he would have gotten it. I remember when Emmett broke the record in 2002 against the Seahawks. The very next week they played the Lions, and that might have been one of the worst football games ever. It was 9-7. It was terrible. But Emmett got booed every single time he got the ball because those Lions fans thought that should have been Barry's record. And guess what? It would have been if Barry Sanders wanted the record. He didn't. He wanted to retire. He was done. He was fed up, and he needed to get out. Emmitt Smith wanted that record. He wanted Walter Payton's record. It meant more to him. So therefore, he deserves it because he played long enough to get it. And these guys today, I mean, it's just hard to do because even though they're going to move it up to 17-game schedule and now it could be 18-game schedule, I still don't see people breaking that record. It's gonna be tough to do. Let's go to Chuck D in Bridge City, Texas.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Chuck. What's up, man?
Been a few weeks. I hadn't called you since this winning streak, Super Bowl run we've been having.
Okay. All right. Well, see you later. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, we're all a little delusional if you're a Cowboys fan, but that's okay.
You just play. You just play the game, see what happens. I don't think anyone's thinking this team's going to make the playoffs. It's going to be tough to do. You're going to have to win out. You're going to have to win out and hope that Washington or somebody falters. But, hey, it's possible to go on a run. It is. They got to beat the Bengals, though. They got to beat this powerhouse 4-8 team.
I think I've called you a while now, and me and you both said it's enjoy the ride, enjoy the wins. The wins make it so much better. It just makes your day better, your week.
Sure.
But what I'm calling about is offensive line seems to be doing better with the backups, which, doesn't seem like that'd be the case, but it is. Mm-hmm. And do you think the coaches won't be too hard-headed to go back to, Guyton and even Martin, just because they think they deserve it. But honestly, you can just see they're doing better, and I just hope they continue to get better and leave it the way it is. And that's my opinion.
Well, I hear you on that. On the first part, I mean, and Guyton, that's just a tough situation. I don't know what's going on with him. He can't stay healthy right now. So that's the key. But Zach Martin, if Zach Martin's healthy, I think Zach Martin comes back and plays. I think Zach Martin's still a better player than anybody else that you've got. I think the bar's different. I said this the other day. I obviously think that your expectations are different out of him, but I still think he's a better player. And if not, then we'll find that out. But I think he comes back. He's been fighting injuries too. If he gets himself back ready to play, I think he will play this next game. I think he still gives you a better option than Hoffman, in my opinion. So
okay, Nick.
All right.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, Chuck. Appreciate the call. And I could be biased on that because Zach Martin's one of my favorite players to ever play for the Cowboys. I just love what he's been about. He's just he's about business, and he's never been that flashy of a guy. He's pretty funny though. I mean, he's got a good personality to him. Let's not forget when Zach Martin first got here. I wish we could find the video to this. I'm sure we could. Zach Martin. That was the year they were trying out. Chris might even know the story. They were trying out glasses with the camera on it, and Zach walked into Valley Ranch with these glasses with a camera just to kind of capture the moment. and of all players to do it, you just wouldn't expect it to be Zach. But he was
no way he's doing that now.
No, he would be like, what is this?
I'm good.
No, yeah, he was just a young kid, whatever. But and that's the thing, nobody wanted that pick, as far as like fans go, because all these defensive guys that were there, and just as long as it wasn't Johnny Manziel, of course. But he's been outstanding, and so I still think that he's a better option than Brock Hoffman. I still believe that. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and I don't think it'll be something that we have to deal with for too much longer here. This is the end of the season. I think this is it for Zach Martin. I really do. I think he's going to retire after this year. So that being said, I'm kind of like, let's let him kind of carry this thing out here, as long as he wants to go. And if that's not the right approach, then I apologize. And maybe it isn't, because I don't think it's night and day difference. If it was night and day, then I think everyone would see it. Even Zach would probably see it, but I don't think it is. And that being said, I'm sure Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass, those guys are going to play. They're going to play at some point here in the rest of the season. Let's go to break here real quick. One more break here on Cowboys Storyline. Come back for a couple more calls.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit alteclansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's ALTECLANSING.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Get your holiday photo with Santa at the Star, presented by Monument Realty. He'll be here through December 24th. For more information and to book your visit, head to stardistrict.com/Santa. All right, let's get back on the phone lines here. Let's go to Oklahoma City. We got Gavin, Oklahoma City. What's up, man?
What's up? How you doing, man?
Good. How was your Thanksgiving weekend?
My Thanksgiving weekend was awesome. I got to be in the building on Thursday and watch the game.
Nice.
And me and my dad went. And
that's awesome.
After the game, we were like, that's probably the best home game this year we could have went to, obviously.
Yeah. The one they won. Yeah. Love it.
So it was great, and I had one too many margaritas, and we had a good time.
Good stuff.
And then,
all right,
I just have a couple takeaways from the game. I'm sure you've been over some of this, but
go for it.
I love CD, but you got to catch the ball, man.
Yeah.
You got a backup quarterback in the game that needs all the help he can get. And I know CD's a little banged up, and I'm not that concerned with it. I know he'll get it right, but you got to catch the ball, man. That could have been a big deal on that fourth down or third down when he dropped the ball, and you got to punt the ball.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And then another takeaway I had was, I was thinking the whole game, like, where was this at? The whole, everybody was thinking this. Where was this running game and O-line play at when we needed to steal a few of these games earlier in the season? Because obviously we all hanging on, hoping that, we can win out, but it's not very realistic. If we could have stole a couple games there and if that would have had a decent running game early in the season, I think we'd be in a good spot to make the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a game or two here for sure. I mean, they're 5-7. Yeah, I mean, you would love to be, the 7-5. I mean, yeah, I mean, you would be in a much better spot if you get 2 wins. But I don't know who, there haven't been many games where you're like they should have won that one. I mean, do you think of one? I mean, the 2 close ones that they've played close were Atlanta. Atlanta, Baltimore. There's 3. Atlanta, Baltimore, San Francisco. But were they really that close? Atlanta maybe. Atlanta, I think you had a chance to win that game.
I think we should have won that Atlanta game, but that's my biased opinion, obviously.
That was for the taking. San Francisco,
Right.
kind of ran out of time. But San Francisco, I thought when they needed to make plays on offense and defense, they did. And same with Baltimore. Baltimore, they dominated that game. So really, the Cowboys. You say where was that running game? Well, it wasn't. It just wasn't against the Giants. The Giants haven't lost 7 in a row for nothing. They're bad, and so they gave up. Do you realize that it was the Cowboys' best rushing day for Rico Dowdle, but it was the best that the Giants had stopped the run in the last 6 games. They were giving up at least 140, and it was only like 125 or something like that. So that was one of their best games, and it was one of the Cowboys' best games too. That just goes to show how bad both sides have been.
And see, that right there is why I call you Nick, because I didn't have that perspective. That puts it in the big perspective.
I'm just saying
I appreciate your knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, thanks, Gavin. I appreciate it. That's what I'm here to do. I'm just saying the Giants are a bad rushing defense team, and so if the Cowboys can't run the ball against them, they can't run it against anybody. So they did run it well, but not wasn't like the greatest game ever, but it was the best game Rico Dowdle's ever had, which is good. So they got to build off that. Got to build. And
my
now,
last thing I'm gonna leave you with. Sorry about that. My last thing I'm gonna leave you with is Mike Zimmer's defense starting to look really, really good. I don't think he's getting enough credit with. Well, maybe he is. There is some people talking about it, but I think if he has all his reinforcements, maybe this season looks a lot different. He's starting to get those back, and I guess my question for you is, how realistic do you think that maybe Zimmer could get back in the building? Maybe along with McCarthy, maybe not with McCarthy. That's what I'll leave you with.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for the call. That one, I've said this before. It'll start at the top. It has to, and then from there is then you look at, all right, who's the coach? If there is a coaching change, then you're asking about Zimmer. Then it has to see, is it a defensive coach? Is it an offensive coach? Is it a young offensive coach that needs a veteran defensive coach like that? So there's just, I think if you're going to keep Micah Parsons, I think you got to have a 3-4 element. I really do. I think you've got to be able to play some 3-4. He's got to be able to stand up, keep his hand in the ground for that long. He's gonna wear down. We saw a little bit this year with an injury. It's his first injury he's had, but still, that's how it starts. But I still think he needs to be upright and rush the quarterback as much as he can. So, and then you're asking about how do they stay in the building. They're just gonna have to go on a huge run here. And they've got 2. They're gonna have to beat Cincinnati, and that's gonna just be. You have to score some points. You have to stop them. They're gonna score points. They play loose and free, and got nothing to play for now. They're just gonna go out there and play for stats. And so Cincinnati is it's gonna be a challenge. I still think they can win. I think they can win at home against Cincinnati. They're 4-8. They're giving it up. They're losing the close games. They for whatever the reason. So their offensive line isn't that great, and so they're gonna face a challenge there. So if the Cowboys can win that game, they get to 6-7, and then you got Carolina and Tampa. And I'm not just saying, hey, those are easy games, but they are games that you can win, of course. So. Again, it sounds crazy, but just go one at a time. If you beat Cincinnati, then you got to go beat Carolina. If you beat them, you got to beat the Bucs. And if you are, then you're 8-7, and you're playing the Eagles. Let me see it. I want to see that. All right, let's go to last caller here. Who we got, Chris? Our last caller.
Got Bill in Deerfield.
Deerfield, that's right. Bill in Deerfield, Kansas. What's up, man?
Oh, not a whole lot. How are you doing today?
Good. What is going on in Deerfield?
Nothing right at the moment.
All right. Well, got that stoplight. It's going. It's flashing, I'm sure.
Yeah, just one.
All right.
We're good.
That's good. What do you got, Bill?
I've seen Dak up in the booth with the headset on.
Mm-hmm.
Is he actually helping call the plays? This may be the dumbest question you've ever got.
No, it's not. It's not. I don't think he is. I mean, I don't think he's not helping call the plays. I think he's listening to the play call and just so he can kind of stay in tune with what's going on. But no, I don't think he's not helping with that. Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge, and I'm not even sure he could do that. Then again, I don't know the rules of that. That's probably one of those you just don't ask. You're just like, cool, he might be listening to the radio. Maybe listen to Brad Cham call the games. I don't really know. But he's not helping.
All right, I wasn't sure because I keep seeing him up there. They keep showing him with the headset on. I didn't know if he was helping out, making suggestions. I didn't know what he was doing, other than just listening.
Yeah, I think it's just listening. I think that's a good question though. It's not a bad question. It's a good one. It might not be one that they want the answer to go out to. But he is, he's injured and he's on crutches, and so he had surgery and all that. So he's got kind of a little walking crutches there, so he can't. That's really why he's not down there. Because remember he was on the sideline. I don't remember what game that was. He gets basically run over. And so it's like he can't be down there. So that part of it is that he's up there. It's just to get him out of the way.
Cool.
All right, Bill. Got anything else?
Yes, sir. I got one trivia question for you.
Okay.
Who is the only defensive player, to my knowledge, who tackled Earl Campbell in an open field 1-on-1?
Well, I'm sure it's a Cowboy. I don't know. I don't remember that. Bob Bruning.
Hollywood Henderson.
That makes sense. You gotta be strong enough. You also gotta be fast enough. Cool. What year was that?
I do not remember.
Oh, all right. Well, it's good play. I don't remember. I don't know. But yeah, not many people tackle him 1-on-1. So that's an impressive if that did happen for sure. All right, good stuff. Appreciate you guys calling in. Got 10 good calls today. We'll see if we can do it again tomorrow. We'll be here. All right. So for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. See you tomorrow on Cowboy Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?